One of you asked me if I could show how to craft cute animals using quilling paper art. In this video, I will demonstrate step by step how to quilt this adorable deer family and create a quilt name for a newborn baby. Let's jump right into the quilling process. As I wanted to quill a cute deer family, I searched the internet for cute images and found this adorable picture. This picture was almost perfect. I only had to add another baby deer to complete the whole family. So I mirrored the baby deer. I also wanted to quill the baby's name and used Canva to design the perfect template for the quilling artwork. After I was happy with the design, I drew the deer on an extra sheet of paper and cut them out to create my templates for the quilling artwork. Next, I use 130 GSM brown paper to trace the outlines from the templates and cut out these shapes. These will be the background for the quilling deer. As you can see on the template, its belly and the spots on its back are in another color. I could use an embossing tool to transfer the shapes onto another sheet of paper. But in this case, it's much easier to cut out the shapes from the template and transfer the outlines onto the sheet of paper. This way, you can be sure to get the perfect shape. These are the shapes I need for the second layer of the background. I will place them like this after I cut them out. When it comes to the spots on its back, they don't have to be exactly like those on the template. So I just cut out some random circles in different sizes. Here is another tip that I highly recommend. If you look closely at the cut out background pieces, you will see the pencil marks along the edges. You can easily remove them with an eraser. But I prefer to turn the background over and use the other side. This will mirror the whole artwork, which is okay because the entire design is mirrored. And here is the background of the first deer. Let's move on to its head. For the second layer of the background, I will use the brown sheet of paper as it is on top of the other color. To highlight the face more than the body and place it in front, I use 300 GSM paper to cut out the shape of its face. I also cut out the exact same shape with a 130 GSM brown paper sheet. Next, I cut out the forehead to attach it to the background. In the following step, I will draw its eyes with a black marker and attach the spots on its head. I also cut out a circle from black paper and glued it right in front of its face to form its nose. The antlers are cut from 300 GSM paper and attached to the top of its head as well. The father deer is now complete. I have also prepared the faces of the mother and the children, adding pink cheeks for extra cuteness. I want to craft my quilling on thick cardboard. This cardboard is actually made for acrylic painting, which gives it a rough texture. To prepare the surface, I will cover the cardboard with 130 GSM paper sheets. I prefer using a glue stick instead of liquid glue to prevent the paper from warping. Apply the glue evenly over the cardboard, paying close attention to the corners. Then, attach the paper sheets and secure them on the backside of the cardboard. I used the light blue paper sheet for the sky. And next, I added 2 different shades of green where the deer are standing. After completing the cardboard base and the background for the Quilling deer family, let's move on to the baby's name. As before, I drew the name on an extra sheet of paper and cut it out to use as a template. Then, I transferred the outlines of the letters onto a 130 GSM paper sheet and cut them out. Be sure to mark the letters with your pencil on the backside. Once everything is ready, I arrange all the pieces on the cardboard to find the best position for the entire design. And then I attach all the pieces onto the cardboard. With the background ready, we can finally start the quilling process. I will begin with the outlines of the letters. I recommend using 300 GSM paper strips as they are sturdy enough to provide the best results for on-edge quilling. For the curved letters, I curl the paper strip with a needle tool and measure them along the edges of the letter. Then I apply a small amount of glue and attach the beginning of the strip to the cardboard. After that, I glue the strip in small steps along the letter, always wiping away any excess glue before it dries, so it will be invisible when finished. Another important tip is to keep your fingers clean from glue to ensure the whole artwork remains clean as well. When a paper strip reaches the end, cut it off in small steps to avoid shortening the strip too much. Sometimes the curves on the letters are very narrow, like the inner lines of the letter O. In this case, I prefer to use the handle of the slotted quilling tool to curl the paper strips. As we move on to the letter J, I'd like to advise you not to quill the entire letter with a single paper strip. It is much easier to divide the letter into sections. For example, I used 2 strips to craft the letter J. The letter R has both curved and straight edges, so I recommend using at least 3 strips to craft it. As you can see, I even needed 4 strips to complete the on-edge quilling of the letter R. Some letters are easy to quill, like the letter I, as it only requires straight strips. That's why I managed to quill it with just a single strip. The letter S is one of the most difficult letters to quill, as it requires curled strips in 2 different directions. Just try to craft it in small steps. Finally, the outlines of the Quilling name are complete. Let's move on to the cute deer family. As I mentioned before, I'd like to highlight the faces of the deer, and to do this, I will make the on-edge quilling on the backside of the face. First, I fold paper strips for the antlers and attach them directly to the backside. Then, I make the on-edge quilling along the shape of the face. At the end, I roll a loose coil and attach it to the center of the face for support. I repeated this process for all the deer. Now it's time to attach all the faces to the cardboard base. I use more glue than usual to ensure the faces are attached perfectly. The quilling artwork is almost done, and I love how the faces stand out from the background. In the next step, I will do the on-edge quilling of the deer family. As you can see, I use two different shades of brown to separate the female and the male deer. Once again, I recommend using 300 GSM strips of the same color as the background to craft the outlines of the deer. The quilling process will be the same as for the letters. Curl your strips as needed. Apply glue to the cardboard. Attach the strip and wipe away the excess glue. Repeat these small steps to craft the outlines of the deer. Sometimes I use my tweezers to hold the paper strip and fold it at the right position. I find it very useful like this. And finally, I can present you the quilt father deer. I'm pretty happy with the results. Now I will move on to the baby deer, using the same color paper strips as its background. I want to mention that the baby deer is smaller than the father. That's making the on-edge quilling more difficult. If you have problems while quilling, try to skip small details like the hooves and other tiny parts of the body like I did. Keep everything simple. And if it's still too difficult, maybe you should try to make a bigger design. Here she is, the first baby deer is also complete. Isn't she adorable? Just a little reminder, I would really appreciate it if you press the like button and show your support. If you've made this far into the video, I just want to say thank you. Your support keeps motivating me to create more content. After several hours of quilling, the deer family is finally complete. The artwork turned out beautifully, and I'm in love with the quilling effect. But the quilt name looks a little bit empty. So I decided to fill the letters with just two basic quilling shapes, hollow teardrop shapes and tight coils without center holes. By the way, if you want to learn more about quilling letters, you can watch my quilling alphabet series where I show different styles and techniques in each video. I will share the playlist at the end of this video. After crafting my basic quilling shapes, I will fill up the letters and arrange them inside. Since this quilling artwork is a gift, I will frame it in a shadow box to keep it clean from dust. I'm so happy with the results, and I hope my friend will also like it. And now, for all of you who are interested in learning more techniques and styles in quilling letters, you can watch my Quilling Alphabet series right here. Just click on the playlist. Thank you all for watching and happy quilling!